Well, I had no idea, to be honest with you. I had no idea I wanted to be an artist. When I went to University of Texas, I signed up as a journalist student. I went to this meeting for the journalist students, and it was the most incredibly strange bunch of people, and not good strange. They were just like really kind of uptight, off people, right? Yeah. Okay. So I just went wandering around the campus, and I saw these like, you know, cute girls and these kind of, you know, punk rock guys and stuff hanging out. And it turned out it was the art building. And I went, I want to be around those people. So I had a very carefully thought out decision to be an artist, obviously. I'm a total art school dropout.
Out of order. Out of order. Out of order. Yeah.
Why cats?
I'm a real cat fancier. I like having them around. And they're pretty good analogy, really, I think, for humans, more than dogs. But I don't limit myself exclusively to using cats, you know. Weasels, snakes, whatever. I just feel that there's such a history of the use in human art. I mean, when you're going to art school, they teach you about art history, and you're always taught the first piece of art ever were these cave paintings, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a human figure, as well as like maybe the bison. Yeah. So I think, you know, they've been using the human figure in art for so long. I don't want to use it. I want to construct a narrative that I can relate to the experience of being a human, but I don't want to use a human figure, because I think it's been used for so long that everything that can be said about the human figure has been used. So that's why I use cartoon characters.
Making the distinction between the subject of a work and the objects in the work.
I'll draw the character and then come up with a narrative to make it fit.
It's almost impossible to say what a painting is about.
It's impossible to not have some sort of story happening, whether it's what I intended or what the person who's looking comes up with. And I had this one cat who, he bought one of my paintings and took it home. And like 2 weeks later, he called the gallery and he said, you know, this guy in this painting, this duck, has a big heart-on sticking out of his pants. And I didn't know, he didn't notice, and it was like, okay, if you're going to spend like $3,000 for something, and you're going to have it the rest of your life, you know, for a long time, you should really examine it, right? And I couldn't believe that he didn't really see this thing, and he wanted to take it back. He wanted to exchange it, and we said, forget. You know, you get these artists who put so much emphasis on everything that they do. They're like, you know, this is a drawing, and they don't want to sell it unless it's framed. You know what I mean? There's like this whole myth of presentation. It's way too formal. I'm way more into like just having the informal approach.
All the abstract pictures had the frames taken off and were hung on poles on universal joints.
It's like sending these little drawings out to the kids and stuff. It's all part of just getting it out there for people to see.
The car doors.
Why that as a canvas?
I got tired of working on the standard format square canvas. When you take the door as just like an object taken away from the car, especially those older ones, they have like their own sculptural quality to them.
Schwitter's Kurt tried to create new art forms out of the remains of older cultures. This led to a new form of painting that uses any sort of material.
In LA, when you go to the thrift stores, every fucking thrift store has surfboards, right? So I get these surfboards like $4.99, and I started painting on those. After a certain point, I began getting more interested in the cars and hot rods and stuff like that, as opposed to the surf culture, because I really don't have anything to, you know, I've surfed, but I'm totally lame at it. So I decided to start working on car doors because it related a little bit more to what I was trying to say, you know, with the hot rods and stuff. You can get plastic 32 Fords and everything's, you know, just like totally perfect and stuff. And that's so far away from the real base. You know, some guy just in his garage working away on it and making it go faster. So I just wanted to kind of get back to the garage ethic and just paint something from me that I like. Tex Avery's a big deal. He just busted the conventions of what you can pull off in cartoons wide open. You know, with the eyes bugging out, the guy who gets hit on the head and yet manages, like, you know, in the next beat he's like up again, that kind of thing. To refer to somebody who's like in the past and it is somebody who's contemporary. I went to a gallery recently, and this guy was doing paintings that looked really much a lot like Beavis and Butthead, like totally diluted what he was trying to say, because the cultural reference was too contemporary. It didn't look like he was referring to something and paying it a tribute at all. So when you see the parallels in my work in Tex Avery's, I'm just like totally paying tribute to that guy.
Consider yourself a fine artist. I mean, it's...
Or a pop artist.
Pop artist, commercial artist. I mean, you're showing in major galleries.
Unfortunately, there's There's a lot of friction between the fine art world, which is like easily evidenced by things like, you know, color field canvases, stripe paintings, abstract, you know, Jackson Pollock kind of stuff. It requires a lot of intellectual discourse to really explain it, you know. And to me, like, art should the piece of art itself should explain all of that to the person looking at it. It shouldn't require, you know, a manifesto, a lot of theory and things like that. I think that difference of approach separates the fine art world from what I'm trying to do. Cats like Robert Williams, you know, Joe Coleman, Kozik, you know, working as a textile designer.
How does that affect your work?
It taught me technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it taught me a lot about different ways of painting. As far as academia is concerned, it's a really insular environment, and I didn't want to spend 4 more years learning how to be an artist and then all of a sudden then be out in the real world trying to get shows. I wanted to get to the meat of the matter right away, trying to get shows, have people see what I'm doing. I wanted to jump right into the gallery.